showings, that's a little different. I would highly recommend you never drive your client in your vehicle. In today's day and age, everybody has GPS. Everybody can look it up, figure out where the property is. In most of the cases, our clients contact us and go, "Hey, I'm right outside this house on Main Street. Can you come show it to me?" And it's like, well, I can't come right now because I'm a busy realtor and my schedule is important. But I can set an appointment for you. So when you do set that appointment, I would recommend don't drive them, okay? At least not on your first appointment with them. If you've had an established relationship and you know that you can trust them, okay, perfect. Now you know, okay, now jump in my car, we're gonna go look at 17 homes, because that's what buyers do. So drive separately to the appointment. When you get there early, way earlier than your client, park with your exit in mind. Back into the driveway. Park on the street so that they can't block you in. Just however because homes are all different and whatnot, have your exit in mind when you park your car and get there.
Even on an open house would be smart, wouldn't it?
100%. 100%. So, same idea. You're going to go in, lock the door behind you, open the entire property up. Now, some of these will be vacant, some of them are not. So you got to be mindful of pets and other animals that you're not supposed to let go run amok. If they have like a pet ferret that runs around, you can't let it out. Ferrets are awesome, by the way. Now, when you meet your client, meet them in the driveway. Be outside the house. You want to be visible for all neighbors and everybody walking their dogs outside to see. And as people walk by, I know it's not my client, but you're like, "Oh, are you Peggy? Oh, I'm waiting for my client. They're probably going to be buying the house. You're going to get a new neighbor. Come by in a couple minutes. Maybe you'll get to meet them." Same idea as the open house. Get to know your neighbors. Okay? And starting up a conversation with somebody walking their animal is not a bad idea in front of a house that's for sale. But let them know, like, "Oh, sorry, I was wondering if maybe you were going to be coming to see the house." Okay, perfect. And then what happens is if they show up and you're talking to somebody and they had intentions of doing something other than buying this house, that window of opportunity just got smaller because now they're like, "Oh, there's a witness." And we've all seen those shows on TV. The cops go and they talk to so-and-so and then they talk to so-and-so and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, well, the neighbor walking the dog spoke to him at 6:05. Well, now they've got a timeline and people know that. So once you meet them in front of the house, now we usher again. So let me show you the house. Open the front door. This is the living room. And I'm standing here while you're looking at the living room. And then, off to your right, we're going to walk to the dining room after you. Over this way, this is the kitchen after you. They walk in first, you come in after. You don't want to give them your back. Give them opportunity. So we talked about the home snap, phone app, and the alarm. Mm-hmm. And then phone a friend. That's the, "Hey, I've got a red file. I forgot it," whatever that might be. I like that one because it fits with what we talk about. So, has anybody had any issues on a showing?
No.
And I've had one up in Alpine. The cops had the machine gun him, and that's about 20 years ago, and I just happened to see him, and I just got a cold chill went down my spine.
Are you serious?
I'm serious as heck. And he got out from the cops in a tunnel underneath this house and went out the back door. Mm-hmm. It was. You remember that big?
That happened during a showing?
Yeah, it was just outside.
Holy shit!
So
wow.
And if it spooks me, you got problems.
Right. So when it comes to private showings, because now we're not talking about just general public. Now we're talking about, this is an appointment. This is somebody that you've had interaction with prior to getting to this point. So what are a couple things that we can do to try to curb any issues happening at this private showing before we even get there?
Yeah, I'm gonna meet them at the office first, and I'm gonna see who they are, and maybe make a copy of their ID if I've never met them before, especially if we're planning on going out and looking at stuff. But I'm not gonna ever just go meet somebody in a property unless I've met them here first. I'm just not gonna do it.
Okay.
I
Doing a
don't.
cyber stalking.
Or take somebody with me, but I honestly, truly, Connie Vogt used to talk about that a lot, she had one where the guy, he sounded drunk on the phone, and he wanted to go see this property right now, and he was really insistent, and she was a little scared, so she got the broker to go with her.
Yep.
And the guy ended up being okay, but it made her nervous enough that she took somebody with her.
Yep.
I freely offer, if you girls, ladies have that trouble, take me with you. I'm pretty good at handling it.
There you go.
But, and I will, and I've done it a lot to help make sure, because if you ever go by yourself, you're a fool. You don't know what you're getting into.
Right. So you said you would cyber stalk them? What does that
Well, I want
look
to
like?
look at him online. Like, I'm going to just go to my
See if it's a
Proctor.
real person.
Who is he? Like, I'm going to look at your Facebook and see if your people are from here or from Botswana and other places, because maybe they're made up. And I'm just going to Google your name and see what comes up.
Okay.
Because I actually had a client, unbeknownst to me, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but Charlene shared with me via Facebook that he had given some women some date rape pills at a bar downtown and had done some bad things, and it was terrible. And so I unfriended him on all accounts. But I was never ever in a car alone with him,
Right.
and always had other people with me at a showing, but, so now I check out everybody. Even if they say they're an investor and they've bought houses from me before
There you go.
with cash.
Yeah.
So,
So,
remember that dude?
couple good nuggets there. Number one,
I can't remember his name.
you can always invite them to the office to meet you before you go showing. Okay. I do know that some clients are like, no, I just want to go to the property. So qualifying them over the phone. All right. I've gotten pushback from agents on this where it's like, no, they just want to go see the property. I'm going to go show them. And I'm like, okay, but there's a couple things there. Number one, it's our responsibility towards that seller to make sure that we're showing their property to qualified buyers that are people, not looky-loos, that are genuinely interested in purchasing the home. So we have a fiduciary duty to dig in and ask what kind of qualifications they have, how many homes they've purchased, what other agents that they've worked with in the past. Ask these questions, dig deep. Because we're not a waiter or a waitress. We're not here to just take an order and deliver on what they asked for. We are professional realtors, and we need to dig in and figure out if you are a actual buyer. Because if you just want to go look at the house, Zillow's got like 30 pictures. Get after it. You know what I mean? Like, go look at pictures. Oh, no, you actually do want to purchase the home. Okay, so let's talk about that then. And you start really digging into their why and, their driving want, their driving need, and dig into that information. And having that conversation should give you some more depth on who they are and whether or not you're comfortable meeting them at the property. Bringing somebody with you is a huge, huge opportunity. Okay? Again, don't get stuck on commission. The reason you don't bring somebody with you, the reason you don't have an open house with another agent is because you don't want to share commission. Get over it. I'd rather you be alive. I'd rather you, not have an issue happen and throw somebody $100 for coming with you to an open house, or throw somebody $50 or buy them lunch because they came with you on a showing. Buy them a beer, which isn't a big deal anyway. Like, you're going to want to hang out with this person anyway. First round's on you. Come to the showing with me. Find somebody that you can buddy with that's not going to be like, well, am I getting half the commission? Because that's not somebody you want to hang out with anyway. But bring somebody with you, okay? That first showing, bring somebody with you. And you can even tell them, bless you. You could tell the client, be like, oh, I'm bringing Peggy. She's learning, so I'm going to show her how we show clients properties. So Peggy, this is client, this is Peggy. So let's just watch the house now. And clients, for the most part, will be like, oh, cool, hey, Peggy, let's go look at the house. No big deal, But don't go alone if you can. I love cyber stalking. That's a big one. I use a system called Intellius, which brings up all of the contact information known to man about any person in particular, because I know their phone number and I know their name. So once I know their name and their phone number, I plug that into Intellius. I can find out their email address, every other phone number they've ever used, any addresses that are associated with them. It's kind of cool. And then I use that and I plug those email addresses into Facebook, and I can find Facebook profiles of those email addresses.
Is that an app or an...
Intellius?
Yes.
No, it's, what is that called? Just, it's a web service.
It's a really good way to, a lot of these people are so covered up, you can't find out who they are, where they are, who owns it. I use it all the time to spook out where the stuff is for absentee owners and things.
I do that.
I've got all their relatives, their mother, sister, and brother.
Yeah.
And I call them to, hey, how do I get hold of him?
What's the cost for that service?
It's cheap.
Yeah, it's pretty inexpensive. So,
Do you pay by the month generally?
I pay
Or just
annually.
For each, oh, okay,
yeah.
right on.
So, yes.
Oh, I was just gonna say, one time I couldn't find anyone to go with me. It was the middle of the day, it was a lead off from online. And of course my husband was at work, asked around the office, nobody could go with me or anything like that. I asked them if they could reschedule. They're like, no, we really need to go now and see it. So one of the things I did was I said, I told them, I know, right? And I
Buy me
appreciate
lunch.
that. I appreciate that. But it was one of those things where I was like, you know, what do I do and stuff like that. So I called it back and I said, hey, I can appreciate that you want to go see this now. And I said, so when we get to the house, before we go in, because I was going to get there early and open it up, before we go in, I will need to see your IDs, because I wanted to see if they were truth tellers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a young couple that they told me they were a young couple. So I think, you know, I felt once, and they said, oh yeah, we totally understand.
Yeah.
They were there with their IDs out. I took quick pictures. I said, do you mind if I take quick pictures of them?
Right.
If they're willing to kind of give you their
Definitely.
information, I feel like that they're kind of on the level.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when they say, well, why do you need to do that? You know, and I told them, you know, they didn't ask me why. I just said, for safety purposes, before we go in, I'll be asking you to show your ID, because,
Yep.
you know, and that type of thing. I didn't tell them nobody was coming with me, and they were like, oh yeah, no problem, you know.
Well, I think it's so relevant that you treat this the same as any other professional appointment. When I go to the doctor, when I go to the dentist, I have to show ID. I have to show my card. There's paperwork I have to fill out. And the last time I went, I mean, as frustrating as it is because they're always late and never on time with their appointments, nobody goes, I'm not showing you my card. They're like, no, here's my ID. What paperwork? Okay, I gotta fill this out. They do it begrudgingly, but they still do it. How is our service no different than that?
And you also have to sign the buyer broker for that one property if you haven't met them before.
Yep.
I mean,
You know, what you're doing there on that ID, you're opening house of people's home with a lot of properties in it. I mean, they just may be casing the face, and at least you know who was in there and
Yep.
what things disappeared. They'd say, hey, you stole my stuff, you know? And it could be someone, if you're not escorting them, and right on them.
Exactly. Great point.